Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and this one shouldn't come to a surprise to anybody. Shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, should I say. Just a day or two ago, My Dying Bride released a new track. About a month ago, shortly before I did my birthday series, My Dying Bride released the new track, Thornwick Hymn, and of course, me being me, My Dying Bride being my favourite band, I had to check it out. I've mentioned many times My Dying Bride are like my absolute favourite band. You know, I love doom metal, and I think they are one of the best bands ever. You know, Aaron Stainthorpe is a fantastic poet, he's a fantastic lyricist, he's a fantastic vocalist. My Dying Bride's music has always had so much depth and emotion to it, as well as Aaron's vocal performances. So of course, when I saw that they released a new track, I of course was going to have a look at it, wasn't I? The track is called The Second of Three Bells, which is interesting. Now, this is off the new album called A Mortal Binding, which comes out on April 19th. Rest assured, I will be getting that as soon as it comes out, because reasons. I have lyrics here. They come from underneath the video. Now, it's almost a 7-minute song, but the actual lyrics themselves are actually quite short. So whether there's a lot of repetition in the lyrics, I don't know, or if there's just a hell of a lot of instrumentation, remains to be seen. But I'm very excited for this. I'm very much looking forward to it, so I think we'll jump into it. But first, before we do that, if you could take a moment to like and subscribe if you haven't already, it really would help me out. You know, I've been doing this for a little over 6 years now, and as it stands, not even 2% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed, and that's a little bit disheartening, really. So, you know, if you could like and subscribe, it doesn't cost you anything, takes a fraction of a second, and it does make the biggest difference to the channel. But I finally fixed my Bluetooth, so I can use my proper headphones again, so we'll jump into this track and see what we've got. So, Second of Three Bells by My Dying Bride. Let's have a look. That was a very sudden stop. Um, so yeah, the second of Three Bells by My Dying Bride. And I think you can all pretty much predict what I'm about to say. I absolutely love that piece of music. Now, there's something about My Dying Bride's music that just really connects with me. I don't know what it is. I can't really explain it. It's just one of those things, there is, in almost every piece of music they write, in almost every piece of music that they perform, there is so much depth and emotion in that music. It just really grabs me. And I mean, there may be the exception with 34.788% complete. That album was a little bit of an unusual one for My Dying Bride. But outside of that one album, all of their music has just got so much emotion ingrained into it. And like I said when I talked about Thornwick Hymn, Aaron's ability to portray anguish, pain and suffering in his vocal performance, and even in this one apparently anger as well. And that's another thing I really like. I mean, My Dying Bride have been around for a very, very long time. And a lot of bands from a similar sort of era, I mean, you look at bands like Opeth, for example, they started out with the sort of heavier lyrics, and they moved into the sort of mix between clean and, growled lyrics. And then Opeth, foolishly, have completely dropped all of the growled vocals and have gone for a completely clean vocal performance. Bands like Catatonia as well, although saying that Jonas did damage his throat, which is why he stopped doing harsh vocals. But, a lot of bands from that era have sort of softened over the years and sort of stopped using harsh vocals, but My Dying Bride hasn't. Like when you looked at Ghost of Orion, the first track they released from that, Your Broken Shore, there was a lot of harsh vocals in there, and Aaron still performs them, and he performs them so well. There's not many harsh vocals in this track, but they're still there. And, it adds more texture, and it adds more, I feel it adds more sort of emotional depth to a piece of music, because throughout the song he's got that sort of mournful, melancholy tone into his voice. He sounds like he's mourning and suffering the loss of someone. And then comes those harsh vocals where, it's like the stages of grief. There's the denial and whatnot, then there's the acceptance and whatnot, and there's anger in there as well. And, those harsh vocals really sort of bring forward the anger that he's feeling in that moment, for the story. And, that's what I love about My Dying Bride's music. They use harsh vocals, they use clean vocals, but he knows exactly where to use them to get the maximum effect for the song that he's portraying. You look at tracks like Light at the End of the World, there's absolutely no harsh vocals in there at all, and that song is soul-crushing. It's one of those songs, I absolutely love this song. It's one of my favourite songs off the album Light at the End of the World. You listen to that song, you listen to the story behind it, it is soul-crushing, it is emotional, it is beautiful. And then you have other songs like The ISIS Script, which has got a lot of harsh vocals in it. Another fantastic piece of music. But again, the harsh vocals are used to portray a sort of a malevolent presence or an anger within the song. So the way he uses his vocals is perfect in every song that he's ever performed. He is an outstanding performer. He's an outstanding singer. And yes, they are my favourite band, so of course I'm going to be singing their praises. But I genuinely do believe that what I'm saying actually stands true. Because every piece of music has got a purpose. Every piece of music has got a story. It's got a meaning behind it. And, he wants to portray that emotion to the best effect possible. And he does that perfectly in practically every piece of music, And what was really interesting about this is the opening of the song. Because, throughout the song we heard his normal, clean vocal performance. But the first 2 lines that he performed were a lot deeper in timbre. That's not the word I'm looking for. He used a much deeper voice than he normally uses. He has used that depth in his voice once before, or a few times before in earlier albums, but it's not something you hear very frequently from Aaron. So those opening 2 lines where he opened with "Who will," it was really deep for him. So it was really unusual, but it really grabbed my attention because I was like, hold on, this is different. I liked it. It was a great piece of music. And again, My Dying Bride is one of those bands with a very specific sound. You can tell it's My Dying Bride when you listen to it. Even if Aaron didn't say a single word through a piece of music, just the way the guitars are played, the guitar tone that's used, it's My Dying Bride. They've got a very definitive sound. Throat's drying up a bit. So, why the song is called The Second of Three Bells, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I know there's those phrases like "for whom the bell tolls," 2 bells and all's well and all that stuff. So the second of 3 bells, is this like the portent of apocalypse? Is it like the signal that something bad is about to happen? Prepare for the worst sort of thing. Because as with a lot of My Dying Bride songs, there does seem to be a romantic element involved in the song. Because it opens with, "Who will be my son when the day breaks? Who will be my son as the morning wakes?" Even time wishes you were here. Wait with me, the dawn will come. Come all the bells and come the fear. Where the holy words come from, I can't find joy in here. I wish I'd loved you for that long. So, there's an obvious romantic tone to this track. Who will be with me when the day breaks? Who will be there? Who will be my son when the morning wakes? Who's going to be that brightness to my day? Who's going to be the light in my life, essentially? Even time wishes you were here. So is this someone he's lost? And the loss of this person is so profound that even the very fabric of time notices that they're missing. That the impact of the loss is so widespread it's affecting everything. Come all the bells and come the fear. Again, like I said, is the 3 bells like the portent of apocalypse? The death knell, as it were. Is it like a signal that something bad is about to happen or is happening? Come the bells and come the fear. So you hear the first bell and you're sort of, oh dear, what's going on? You hear the second bell and you're like, something's about to go down. And then there's the fear that the third bell is going to come along and that is going to be the ultimatum, the final toll, and, the end is going to happen. Is that what that is? I can't find any joy in here. I wish I'd loved you for that long. So is that sort of like, I wish I'd known you for longer in my life before I lost you? The time that we had together was so amazing. I really wish we'd had more time. I wish I'd met you sooner in life so I could have had more time with you. I had so little here to keep, drawn through these hordes to die. Come the chimes that will peal so deep, the third bell to horrify. Into my vessel they can weep, I lay back and watch them cry. Now, like I said before, Aaron is an amazing poet. He you look at, for example, like The Light at the End of the World. If you listen to the song and then you actually read the lyrics from the lyric booklet to The Light at the End of the World, what's written in the lyric booklet is actually a lot longer. There's a lot more lines in that poem than are actually in the song. So he takes his poems, he writes his poems, and then he turns them into music. But normally there's so much more to them, and they don't necessarily come through, or not that they don't come through. There's parts that aren't spoken. There's like subtext, I suppose you could liken it to. There's subtext to what he's saying. So whilst I've got the lyrics here from the song that's written, there might be more to it that we're not getting, because we don't know what's going on in his mind. There might be a lot more to it. So is there some parts that we're missing? Because it's quite difficult to understand some of this. The third bell to horrify, like I said, that seems to be like the final strike, the ultimatum that something bad is about to happen, or it's like, this is bong, the final chime, this is the end of the world as we know it, this is the end of life, everything stops here. So the third bell to horrify, so there's the fear of that final knell, the death knell, as it were. Because he even says, come the chimes that peal so deep. So these rings of the bell sort of resonate through everybody. Everybody feels them to the very depth of their soul, because they know what it means. There's that fear in them of the third ring, because they've heard the first two and they know the third one is coming, and they feel it so deep within their soul, because they know that once that third bell rings, they're fucked. And then of course he brought in those harsh vocals. The angel of the cruelest watch, the bearer of the final bell. Those are the only two lines that were done in the harsh vocals, but they were used to great effect. And the whole sort of tempo of the music changed. The whole style of the music changed just for that bit. It was really unusual. It's very, very strange. The angel of the cruelest watch, the bearer of the final bell. So this is like I can't remember who it is. The archangel that sort of signifies the end of times. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. But, the angel of the cruelest watch. So this is the angel that has the bell, the final toll, the one that is responsible for the destruction of the world, of mankind, sort of thing. The angel that has the cruelest job, the one that has to destroy mankind, essentially, the bearer of the final bell. Here comes my wounded hand, take it now or watch me die. Here comes my bleeding claw, take it now or watch me die. Come aloud, the final toll, seeding liars into the world. With cold hands I raise you up to my lips as lovers die. It's a very cryptic couple of lines there. Come aloud, the final toll, seeding lies into the world. So, again, the destruction of the world, the downfall of man. The final toll is as I've said a couple of times, the portent of apocalypse. With cold hands I raise you up to my lips as lovers die. Now that could be a reference to the line you said earlier. Into my vessel they can weep. Weeping into my vessel. So is he drinking the tears of the angels that are weeping at the upcoming apocalypse? I really don't know. It's a confusing set of lyrics, but like I said, the song is almost 7 minutes long, and there's actually, in reality, not many lyrics there, but they filled out the song brilliantly. They weren't all crammed into one space. They were spread out evenly amongst the whole song. And I've said it once, I've said it a million times. I absolutely love My Dying Bride. I will never get sick of listening to their music. Everything they've ever made is just fantastic to me. There's a reason why they're my favourite band, and that's because I get so much emotional impact from their music. Their music really does hit me deep, and yeah, I absolutely love the band. Always have done. So it's no surprise that I absolutely love this track. I don't know what else I can say on the track, though. I've it's really quite difficult to dissect this one. But yeah, absolutely fantastic piece of music. I love the song, love the music, love the vocal performance. Those opening lines with the really deep, much deeper voice than he usually uses was really quite surprising, you know, and it's something that really grabs your attention because it doesn't sound like you expected it to. You know, you hear My Dying Bride, you either expect his normal clean vocals or his harsh vocals, but those deeper clean vocals sort of make you go, oh, hold on, this is different. And it sort of it almost grabs you by the ears and goes like, listen to this. And you know, it's brilliant. I really like it. And you know, I mentioned when I looked at Thornwick Hymn in the Ghosts of Orion album, he used this weird sort of chorus effect on his voice throughout most of the album, which I wasn't a big fan of. I didn't like it very much at all. But I don't know whether that was done purposefully for that album. You know, just to give it a certain kind of effect throughout the entire album, but it's something I really didn't like. And I said in Thornwick Hymn, I was glad to hear that, you know, they'd dropped that, although they did use it ever so slightly in a very small portion of the Thornwick Hymn song. But here they've completely done away with it, which is great, you know, because, like I said, Aaron's voice has so much emotion behind it, has so much impact, you know, his emotional impact on the song, you know, the sounds of loss, of mourning, of sorrow. He doesn't need anything to enhance that, you know. His voice already portrays everything it needs to. You know, he doesn't need any enhancements to make his music sound great. So yeah, it's nice to see that they've sort of gone back to how they, in my opinion, should sound. You know, it makes me sound a bit like a gatekeeper or something like that, you know, saying no, the last album was wrong, they should sound like this. No, that's not what I mean. This is how I feel they should sound. This is what I'm used to hearing, and this is the sound that made me love the band, you know, that pure raw emotion without any enhancements. You know, they don't need the enhancements. But I am really waffling on. But I could talk about My Dying Bride for so long because they are such a fantastic band in my eyes. So I will stop and leave that as it is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, if you could like and subscribe, I would really, really appreciate it, because, you know, I've been doing this for about, well, just a little over 6 years now, and not even 2% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed, which is a little bit disheartening, because, you know, I put a lot of time and effort into this. I like to think I'm doing something slightly different than most other reactors. You know, they do the over-exaggerated sort of, oh my god sort of reactions, whereas I like to give more honest reactions, but I also like to talk about the song, rather than just listening to it and going, yeah, it's good, or no, I didn't like it. I like to talk about the song, what the song means, the story, the themes, whatever, within the track. And very few, if even any, React channels actually do that on a regular basis, and it's something I feel needs to be investigated, because people just listen to the song and they go, yeah, that's that. But a lot of songs have so much meaning behind it. You know, we've covered songs about homelessness, PTSD, you know, military servicemen being left homeless on the streets and ignored by the very government that fucked them up in the first place. You know, domestic violence. We've covered all sorts of very sensitive real-world topics, you know, that have been in these songs that many people might not even realise is actually there. You know, and I feel that's something that really needs to be discussed, and hardly any, if any at all, other React channels actually talk about that. So, you know, I'd like to think I've brought something different, and I'd hope interesting. You know, and I thought that was something people might enjoy, but people just aren't watching or liking and subscribing, so, you know, maybe I need to change it up a bit. But anyway, you know, if you could like and subscribe, it really, really would help me out. You know, it doesn't cost you anything, it takes a fraction of a second, and it really does make the biggest difference to me and the channel. But that's all I've got for you today. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.